everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Read-Aloud. 3, 2, 1.
Good evening. Buonasera.
Hello.
Ciao. How are you, Aiden?
I'm good.
It's nice to meet you. I'm Katy Sloop Roberts. Thank you for hosting me tonight.
You're welcome.
Are you going to welcome everybody to the Read-Aloud?
Welcome, everybody.
Good. You're full of energy.
Okay. What do you call a man with no nose?
A nobody?
Who knows?
Who knows? Oh, very good. Very good. I have somebody I want you to meet.
Okay.
This is Fortuna.
Oh.
And when I visit classrooms, Fortuna comes with me. And if we're very lucky, my cat, my real cat, whose name is Lucky, he's the real Fortuna. Maybe he'll walk across the dining room table or something. Sometimes when I've done virtual visits with classes, he has made an appearance because he is part of the inspiration for my book. And Fortuna is the cat character in my book. So she's going to join us. She's going to sit right here. Let's see. I got to bring her a little closer.
But we may see your new cat.
You know, you can't really tell a cat what to do. So if Lucky decides to come down, you will be sure to meet him because he likes to meet everybody. He's very curious. And Lucky
like
is
my baby brother.
Nice. So Lucky is part of the inspiration for my book, Mario and the Stones. The other part of the inspiration for my story is because when we were living in Italy, we lived in a 300-year-old village. That's even older than America. And there was a house on our street that I thought looked like a man's face with a bushy mustache. Isn't that funny? And it reminded me of Mario from the video game. Do you know that, Mario?
Yeah.
So we called this house Mario. And one day there was a little something silly I said to my son about that house. And that one little spark of imagination made my book grow, made my idea grow and grow into a whole book.
Yeah.
So, are you ready to hear some of my story?
Yep.
Okay. My book is a chapter book. It's not very long, but it also doesn't have very many pictures. So what I'm going to do is hold up the original artwork when I get to a page with a picture. And in the meantime, I want you to try to picture in your own head what things look like in my story. This is Mario and the Stones. All right, chapter 1, My Adventures. Last summer, I backpacked through Europe for 6 weeks. I saw places I had always dreamed of visiting. I toured ancient castles and saw famous monuments. I admired priceless pieces of art in world-renowned museums. I climbed narrow spiral stairs and bell towers and walked for hours along the cobbled streets of old cities. I soaked in as many new experiences as I could fit into each long summer day. I met and talked with interesting people from multiple countries, but by far, the most memorable friend I made was an elderly Italian woman with beautiful jet black hair named Luna. I first learned about Luna in a magazine article. She was pictured in her olive grove and quoted as an expert on olive oil. She had such a unique appearance and a fun twinkle in her eye. I knew my travels would be incomplete without meeting her. I searched for her address on the internet, but I could not find it. Hoping to find her, though, I bought a train ticket to her town. Fortunately, as soon as I stepped off the train, I saw a sign for her business. Luna's olive oil, excellent for health and hair. The very best olive oil this side of Venice. I followed a series of these simple signs until I reached a large stone house with a gated garden. When I arrived, Luna was softly humming a mesmerizing tune while tending large tomato plants in her garden. Buongiorno, good morning, Signora Luna, I said softly, not wanting to startle her. I am eager to taste the best olive oil this side of Venice. May I come in, per favore, please? Si, yes, she enthusiastically answered while motioning for me to enter the garden gate. Taste it you will. Entra, per favore, come in, please. My olive oil is the best in this land. It is best enjoyed with good food. Good food is best enjoyed with good wine, and good wine is best enjoyed with a good story. With her enticing invitation, I was instantly filled with delight and curiosity. I was about to make a new friend I would never forget and hear a story I would still be retelling when I am old. Chapter 2, The Olive Grove. So this is where Luna starts telling her story of Mario. A long time ago in northern Italy, in the month of May, Mario was hungry and in need of work. He walked kilometer after kilometer, village after village through the foothills of the Dolomite Mountains, searching for good fortune. Mario was a very lazy man. His laziness caused him to lose a series of jobs, but he was also a very superstitious man. He believed his hardships were the result of breaking a mirror 4 years ago. Mario's wealthy aunt, who lived on the Grand Canal in Venice, gave him the mirror for his birthday when he was a boy. In his teenage years, he admired himself in the mirror for hours every day as he dreamed about a bright future. But as his life became more and more unsettled, he struggled to be hopeful. He was convinced he had at least 3 more years of bad luck ahead of him before he would escape the curse of the broken mirror. Mario trudged along, filled with bitterness and anger as he thought about his many lost jobs over the years. He was so grouchy when he entered a new village, he did not offer customary greetings such as buongiorno. Instead, he loudly announced, "I need someone to give me a job, chopping wood, carrying water, or tending goats." Women hurried inside their homes and children hid when they heard his deep, bellowing, angry voice. In Mario's 4th week of jobless searching, he was thin and exhausted. His broad shoulders sagged as he trudged onward, cursing under his breath about his bad luck. His once handsome and young face, despite his large nose, was angular from weight loss. His eyes even appeared smaller and less round because he glared angrily most of the time. His beard and mustache, brown with hints of red, were quite full. They could have been his best features, but they were unkempt. He saw his reflection from time to time in pools of water, but he no longer cared about his appearance as he once had. Mario had almost given up hope of finding work and a better life when he saw a steep, narrow, rocky path one evening. The trail was unmarked, but he felt compelled to follow it for a reason he could not explain. He continued until the path ended at an olive grove. The olive trees were very well tended. They were all pruned in the same shape and to the same height of 4 meters. They grew in straight rows, numbering 13 in each row. If Mario had counted the trees, he might not have entered the grove. He believed 13 was an unlucky number, but he was too tired after a long day of walking to pay much attention to detail. The ground was covered in soft grass. Wild peonies and irises bloomed along the inside border of the perimeter stone wall. It was a lovely place. Mario, however, only saw it as a resting place for one night before continuing on his journey the next morning. As the sun disappeared behind the mountain and the colors of the evening sky faded into darkness, Mario reclined under a tree. He quickly fell into a fitful, deep sleep. So there's Mario under the tree. Early the next morning, he woke to the constant calling of cuckoo birds on the mountain. Cuckoo, 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 sang the birds back and forth to one another. Basta, basta, stop! I'll never get back to sleep with all your noise, he yelled. Frustrated and irritated, he slowly and stiffly rose, twisting and arching his broad, aching back as he stood. Maybe today will be my lucky day, he grumbled. He picked a handful of small olives and greedily ate them. They were hard and bitter. Olives are not ready until the autumn, but he was famished, so he ate them anyway. Then he had more. He cursed loudly as he chewed the disgusting olives. Basta, 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 he shouted again towards the persistent birds while spitting bits of olives from his mouth. Can a man have breakfast in peace? His booming voice echoed off the mountain like thunder. Unsatisfied with the olives, Mario climbed a tree, hoping to find a bird's nest full of eggs or to spy something else to eat. Unfortunately, all he discovered was a large spider's web. He exploded with rage as the dewy web stuck instantly in his bushy mustache and knotted beard. As he furiously batted his face to remove the sticky web, the branch supporting him cracked. With a loud snap, the limb broke and fell, and so did Mario. Tree branches scratched him as he fell. One branch scraped him across his right eye and cut him deeply from his cheek to his forehead. But he was fortunate the branch did not injure his eye. However, Mario felt anything but grateful. He lay across the broken branch, bleeding. He crossly wondered how his day could get any worse when suddenly he noticed a short woman a meter away. She stood on the opposite side of the low white stone wall with one hand on her hip and the other on a long wooden staff. She peered intently and curiously at Mario with sparkling dark eyes. Mario stared back, startled by her sudden arrival and confused by her contrasting features. He was not sure if she was a young woman or an old woman. She had long, wavy black hair that flowed over her shoulders and down her back in a youthful way, but her face and hands were extremely wrinkled. Chapter 3, Breakfast. "Tuki say, who are you?" the woman asked. "Io sono Mario." "I am Mario," he grunted, still dazed from his fall and surprised by the sudden appearance of the odd woman. "I am hungry and I need work." "Work indeed you will," the woman said in a high-pitched but authoritative voice. "You trespassed on my land, ate my olives, and broke one of my finest trees," she explained as she held up a crooked finger on one hand and decisively tapped her long staff on the wall. She knew Mario had eaten her olives because bits of olives clung in his beard. "Io sono Luna," she continued. "When I was a young woman, I planted these trees. I have cared for my friends, these olive trees, meticulously for many moons. They are very valuable to me. Their fruit gives me the best olio di olivia, olive oil, from here to Venice. It is how I earn a living. Now you have damaged Luigi, the father of all my trees. You have also spoiled this beautiful, peaceful morning with your yelling." Mario sat up, continuing to stare at the old woman with a puzzled expression on his bleeding face. He did not know what to think of her. She was odd for sure. Not only did she have an unusual appearance, but she named trees, and she seemed to arrive to the grove out of thin air. He also thought she was very bossy, and he did not like to be told what to do. How dare this little woman talk to me as if I am a child, he thought. Mario gritted his yellow teeth and grunted in pain as he stood up to reveal his great height to the petite woman. Hoping to intimidate her and stop her chatter, he looked with a nasty glare down at Luna. Luna, however, continued to give instructions, not at all scared of Mario, who was almost twice her height. You will carry stones from the mountain stream and build this wall high enough that no one will ever be able to trespass into my grove or disturb my special trees again. In exchange for your work, I will feed you. After all, you need food to have enough energy to build my wall. Mario's stomach growled and his mouth watered at the mention of food. You are in luck. I am a good cook, Luna remarked proudly. She turned away and started to descend the path. Vieni adesso. Come now, she called over her shoulder to Mario, who was still stunned from falling. You can wash your face in the water pump while I prepare breakfast. Once we have eaten, you will return here and start building my wall. Though not pleased to be ordered by a strange old woman, Mario was too enchanted by her promise of food to complain. They walked slowly due to the steep and rocky land. The path was not difficult for young Mario, but Luna steadied herself with her spiraled olive wood staff to keep from falling. Bored with the slow pace, Mario stared at the walking stick. The wood was rich with many hues of brown and smooth from use over many years. Arrays of dark lines twisted and curved upward, joining together at the rounded top of the staff. Mario had not eaten a decent meal in over a week. He felt dizzy as he stared at the patterns. He blinked and forced himself to look away so he would not trip or fall. Roughly 20 minutes later, Luna and Mario crossed a field of poppies, covered in poppies. Mario saw a very small house with wooden shutters and a young spring garden. Here we go. As they approached the house, Mario saw hens strutting in the yard. He drooled at the sight of the chickens. Patting his aching stomach, he hoped Luna had enough food to satisfy him. If not, he promptly decided to sneak back in the night and steal a chicken or two. Entra, come in, Luna said from the threshold of her one-room house as a black cat wound between her feet. No, no, exclaimed Mario as he staggered away from the door. Un gatto nero, a black cat, is very bad luck. I have had enough bad luck already. Luna shook her head and smiled down at the cat, who looked up with her as if she understood they were talking about her. Nonsense, Luna said. This cat is not bad luck at all. She is quite the opposite. She is a very special and lucky cat. You can wash your face over there at the pump. I will cook breakfast. You are in luck. My hens laid many eggs this morning. Bene, bene. Good, Mario grunted. Luck is what I need. He walked backward to the water pump so he could keep an eye on the cat. Mario pumped the water handle vigorously several times. The water was cold and refreshing. The long scratch across his right eye was not bleeding anymore. It would scar, but he didn't care. What he did care about was making sure that cat did not cross his path. He looked around the little yard for a seat where he could watch the cat. Next to a humongous pile of large round stones at the edge of the garden, there was a short stack of neatly cut stones. Mario sat on the short, sturdy stack, facing the door where the cat remained looking at him. Impatient for breakfast and increasingly nervous because of the watchful cat, Mario tapped his foot and chewed on his fingernails. Luna, meanwhile, swiftly busied herself in the kitchen. She loved to entertain guests. Her first impression of Mario was not a good one, but she pitied him, for he really did seem extremely hungry. Anyone hungry enough to eat unripe olives must be nearly starved to death, she thought. My cooking will be good for him. Perhaps he will be more pleasant after he has had a proper breakfast. She hummed happily while she cracked eggs and hung a pot of water over the fire in the hearth. Meanwhile, the cat continued to watch Mario with its bright yellow eyes from the doorway. Mario, in return, glowered back at the cat. He was too edgy to look away, so he was quite surprised when Luna suddenly appeared next to him with a large platter of steaming polenta and fried eggs. I see you are interested in Fortuna, my cat. You should introduce yourself, she said with a playful laugh. How did you get out here? He asked, bewildered. I have been watching that cat in the open doorway this whole time. I did not see you come out. Surely there's another door? I will have to pay better attention, he thought. This is the second time this morning she has startled me. Mario felt nervous, but his nerves were quickly eased by the sight of the generous plate of food Luna was holding. Allora, sighed Luna with a modest smile as she handed him breakfast. Never mind me or my little cat. Viene adesso. Come now, let's sit under the persimmon tree and eat before the food is cold. Mario held the plate under his large nose and inhaled deeply. The food smelled glorious. He buried his face in it and greedily gulped down 3 eggs and a heaping portion of polenta, twice the size of his fist. Disapproving of her guest's table manners, Luna shook her head at Mario. I know he is extremely hungry, but good heavens, she thought, he eats like a pig. Slow down and use your manners, young Mario, and wipe your beard and use your fork. Remember your manners when you eat with me, she commanded. Allora, now my appetite is ruined, she sighed and shook her head again. Too transfixed by the delicious food to care that Luna was bossing him again, Mario obeyed. As he wiped orange egg yolk from his beard with the back of his hand, he said with a mouthful, Your food is good. If you are not going to eat, give me your plate. After a loud swallow and an even louder belch, he grumbled, Per favore? With the addition of please, Luna passed her untouched breakfast to her poorly mannered guest. Now that I have fed you, you must work, Luna instructed Mario. Walk back up the path. When you reach my olive trees, turn left. You will find a stream in the woods. Collect 100 large stones and carry them to my olive grove. Stack them on the wall. If you complete this task before the sun sinks behind the mountain, I will feed you dinner. Mario replied, stroking his long beard and thinking already about the possibility of more good food. What you ask sounds extremely exhausting. I will need meat for dinner to replenish my energy after such hard work, he said greedily, looking from Luna to her chickens and back to Luna again. Molto bene. Very well. I can agree to that, Luna said with a conclusive nod. Tonight we will have chicken for dinner. Now please excuse me. I am going to take a nap. I am tired after climbing the path and cooking for you. I am an old woman after all. Rubbing his satisfied stomach, he stood. I will be back tonight, he said. He turned to leave, but he stopped abruptly, almost tripping over Fortuna. Vi, leave, go away, he shouted. But the cat stubbornly stayed exactly where she was until Luna called her softly. Vieni qui, mi piccolo gatto nero. Come here, my little black cat. Let us nap together while Mario works. Harumph! Mario replied as he crossed the garden, past the pile of stones, and rudely slammed the gate closed. Here's one of the stones from Italy. They're white. Mario climbed the hill, all the while cursing to himself about his plan to also take a nap once he reached the shade of the olive trees. Now that I have eaten, I will rest well, he thought to himself. I am lucky Luna is a good cook, he happily thought. My stomach is full for the first time in weeks, and tonight I will have roasted chicken for dinner. Perhaps I will think about moving stones later, but first I will rest. And he did. All right, Quinn. I think that's probably long enough for your audience.
Hello, everybody, and we're back. Thank you so much, Katy, for reading us.
Yes, thank you.
Mario and the Stones. And you have another book coming.
I do. Right? I'm hoping for a March release.
Okay.
And the second book is called Fortuna. So guess who it stars? It stars Miss Fortuna. And it is her biography. So she is going to travel from a city to the Italian Sea and then to the mountains. She's searching for a family.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
So if you all want to follow along on Katy's author journey, you can visit her on her website at do people say that anymore? lunaandfortuna.com. You can see it at the bottom of the screen there. And thank you so much, Katy, for joining us.
Thank you. Grazie.